Okay, I know some of you are still eating, and everybody has at least gone through the line. We're going to start our ceremony here. So if while you eat, it's no problem. You can still look up here, I guess. And again, welcome to our Fabulous 22 celebration. I'm Mike White of the Post-Gazette, and I want to introduce, first off, two other Post-Gazette sports writers who are going to help today and introduce people, and I've done a great job. He's a high school sports coordinator now at the Post-Gazette, Mr. Keith Barnes. Some of you have talked to him, and you know, a lot of gray hair up here, but so we decided to get some young blood into our high school coverage. Came just this year and done a great job for us so far, Mr. Matt Press from the Post-Gazette. And thanks again to Dave and Buster's for hosting today's event and sponsoring a lot of stuff for high school throughout the year. A couple people I think I need to recognize, though, that are here. First off, though, pleasure to introduce Ty Mayer Brown, the Woodland Hills Athletic Director, former Fab 22, right, Ty? Another guy who was the offensive coordinator at North Catholic, North Allegheny quarterback, and former NFL quarterback, Mr. Mike McMahon, another former Fab 22 guy. Where's Mike? He went on a walk, didn't he? We have three teams going to beautiful Cumberland Valley for the state championships this weekend. Two of the coaches are here today. Pleasure. First one, Central Catholic, going back again in his third year only. He's been there 2 times, sitting over there with his 14 kids eating dinner. Ryan Lehmeyer. Ryan. I coach Ryan in 8-year-old baseball, and then you guys don't know this, to tell you Central guys, I didn't know who he was the first day of practice. 8-year-old coach pitch, and he was the same age as my son. I said, who's that kid running around the field? He said, he's not very big, but he's fast as a cheetah. His name is Ryan Lehmeyer. So Ryan is, I don't know if he still has that speed, but he was once fast as a cheetah. And a guy who's done a great job getting Avonworth back, and now one of the, premier programs in WPIL. He's got Avonworth back to the state championship again this year. Mr. Duke Johncore. Okay, I thought it would be appropriate to give you guys a little history of the Fabulous 22, since this is the 45th year. And for ages, there were all kinds of high school football all-star teams picked in Western Pennsylvania that appeared in newspapers and the like, and they really didn't have any rhyme or reason a lot of times. But back in 1980 at the Post-Gazette, a guy named Steve Hecht, who I owe a lot to, I was taking scores at the Post-Gazette then. A guy named Steve Hecht was the high school sports editor at the Post-Gazette. And he had an idea of picking one all-star team with the 22 best players in the entire WPIL and City League. Never had been done before. Picking the team wasn't easy. And Steve Hecht decided to get a headshot, a photo of every player. But the team didn't have a name, and he came up with the name. And thus, the Fabulous 22 was born in 1980. The very first Fabulous 22 had six future NFL players, including one of the greatest all-time Western Pennsylvania greatest linemen of all time, Bill Fralick of Penn Hills. God rest his soul, went to Pitt and was in the NFL, one of the top draft picks. A kid who started 4 Super Bowls for the Buffalo Bills. North Hills is Mark Kelso. Also a man who had played 12 years in the NFL as a tight end, 3 with the Steelers. I know a lot of you guys don't know him. John Hayes, 3 of the 6. Those were 3 of the 6. Now today, I'm going to say, all the players are sitting here. We've got a couple, David Davis, Gabe Jenkins over there. There's a very good chance, just by history, one of you guys, maybe even more than one, is going to play in the NFL someday. One of you is. Very good chance. I don't know who it is. I don't know. Ubi's looking at me like I think it's me. One of you is going to play, probably, if you go by history. From 1980 Through 2020, the Fabulous 22 has had at least one future NFL player in every year. 9 former Fabulous 22 players have been first-round NFL draft picks, including 2 number 2 picks overall, 1 number 3 pick. It's had a handful of Super Bowl champs, college All-Americans, Pro Bowl players, 3 players that are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and some College Football Hall of Fame members. And they're all not going to big schools, but they also make their marks Division II, Division III schools, and I think that's one of the neat things of the Fab 22. It has became a big thing to make a Fab 22. Very big. I saw just the other day, that one put on Twitter on X, Aaron Strader said it was a dream of his since he was a kid to make the Fab 22. That's what you get. And you get sometimes of kids, when you tell them they've made it, how such a big thing it is. To tell you one other story, 5 years ago, we picked an all-time Fabulous 22. All-time. Had a panel of coaches and media members that picked it. And because it was 40-year anniversary. And I did a story on what it meant to those guys, some big name guys, to make the Fab 22. Mark Bulger was one of them, a former quarterback at Central Catholic. Was a quarterback at West Virginia, played for the LA Rams, or the St. Louis Rams then, for a long time. He has, in his basement, framed autographed jerseys of Johnny Unitas, two other great players, and he has the Fab 22 framed in his basement. LeVar Arrington said to me, and I quote him, "When I talk to people about a player in Western Pennsylvania," this was 5 years ago, an all-time great from North Hills, I asked them, did they make the Fab 22? If they say no, case closed. They're not. Now, there's a lot of good players out there, and you guys are special to make it, the 22 best in Western Pennsylvania. So congratulations to all you being here. And it is great. Well, I still keep saying, I don't know if I've ever seen a room full of talent like this with all you players. We've got record breakers, guys going big-time colleges, everybody. And one of the things that we are going to do also, we decided it would be good to have a guest speaker to talk to you guys for just a few minutes. And someone, a former Fab 22 player, who has ties and could talk about himself and maybe to you guys a message. And we thought it would be good this year because this is one of the few times ever we have a son whose father was also on the Fab 22. Colson Gatton from Central Catholic, and his father, Aaron Gatton. And Aaron's going to be our guest speaker today, maybe to give some words of wisdom, but I have to say a few things about him first. And the player will be introduced later. But the dad, listen up, you young guys. You might not know about him, but you talk about a successful person on the field, off the field, and an unusual athlete. Listen to this. 30 years ago, 1995, I was working at the Post-Gazette, but I published my own little magazine, came out 3 times a year, through the Post-Gazette. And he was going to be the first cover boy. He was a senior at Washington High School. I went out to Washington High School. He was in his uniform, and I had the idea to put on the cover, and I still have the magazine. I told him to climb up on the goalpost. And he climbed up on the goalpost, sat on the goalpost, and the headline was on the cover, "On Top of It All." And he was on top of it all. What did he do? Football career at Washington High School, rushed for more than 3,000 yards. Also really good on defense. But there's much, much more. He was a WPIL and state champion wrestler at 189 pounds. 189-pound division now, okay? Now, who wins a state championship in 189 pounds and then wins state championships in track in the 100-meter dash and 200-meter dash? Aaron Gatton does. And I will always remember this story. I was covering the state track championships when he was there. And he had run the preliminary races, and I was walking in, a lot of people there, and two athletes, I don't even know who they were right in front of me as I was walking into the infield. And one of them said to the other one, "Hey, this is a true story. Did you see that boy that ran a 10.7-100? And back then, 10.7 was really moving. It still is today. Did you see that boy that ran a 10.7-100? The other one said, "Ain't no boy running 10.7-100. The other one said, "Uh-huh." He says, "Who?" "Gatton. Ran a 10.7-100. Always remember that story. Recruited by Division I schools, went on to play linebacker at Penn State, linebacker U. Went through adversity there, but the ball stops, and then you have a life. In his life, lives in Peters Township, wife, proud parents of 3 kids, Colson and a twin sister and another daughter. He and a partner, the ball stops, guys, at some point. He and a partner own their own medical device company. They sell medical devices for knees, hips, shoulder replacements. So Roman Thompson, maybe he has some for you. I know you hurt your ankle last night. And gigantic success. Company with 130 employees that work for him. And he's here to talk to you today. Mr. Aaron Gatton, Fabulous 22 from 1995.
Well, thanks, Mike, but I definitely don't want to raise scoop, for sure. Anyways, this won't be long, guys. This is short. It's mainly directed towards the players here, but good afternoon. First, I want to extend a sincere thank you to Mike White and the entire Fabulous 22 football committee for inviting me to speak today. It's truly an honor. The Fab 22 has long been one of the most respected recognitions in Western Pennsylvania high school football. And being selected as your honorary speaker means a great deal to me. Before anything else, I want to congratulate this year's 22 recipients. Gentlemen, what you've accomplished is extraordinary. This recognition is as prestigious as it gets in the WPIAL. In a region with the history, pride, and talent of Western Pennsylvania, being named one of the 22 best football players in the entire Pittsburgh region is a rare and special achievement. In my opinion, and I told Mike this is the most prestigious individual football honor in Western Pennsylvania high school athletics. You earned this, and you all should be very, very proud. Today is also meaningful for me on a personal level. 30 years ago, yes, I am old, fellas, I am old. Back in 1995, as Mike said, I sat in the same position you do now as a member of the Fabulous 22. I remember the excitement, the pride, and feeling of representing my family and my school. And now, 30 years later, I get to experience this moment from 2 angles. I'm honored to stand here as your speaker, and I'm incredibly proud as a father. Colson, congratulations. Very proud of you. As I look at all you players sitting here, I'm reminded of something I wish I understood better at your age. Being one of the best today does not guarantee your success tomorrow. Most of you aren't just good, you're the best in the region. You've absolutely dominated Friday nights. You've been the leaders, the go-to players, and the ones everyone counts on week in and week out. But when you get to college, I'm telling you, the landscape changes at some level. You're no longer competing with the Western Pennsylvania's finest. You'll be lining up against the best players from every corner of the country. Players who were also the stars of their hometowns, their leagues, and their states. Players who also look like you, play like you, work like you, and believe they belong just as much as you guys do. That's where adversity will come into play. You likely won't start right away. You might get beat by someone you've never heard of, but who's every bit as talented as you are. You may get injured, unfortunately, or struggle academically, or feel completely overwhelmed by the demands of college, of lifting, film, meetings, classes, and expectations that are placed upon you. Let me tell you something important. Those moments will test you, but trust me, they will not shape you. Adversity isn't a sign that you're failing. Adversity is a sign that you're growing. Every successful college player, every athlete who ever pushed beyond high school greatness, where you guys are now, has stories of being humbled every week, challenged or doubted. What separates those who rise from those who stall is not your talent. It's going to be resilience. When things get tough, lean into it. When you feel discouraged, keep going. When you're not the best player in the room for the first time in your life, use it as fuel. Be coachable, be consistent, outwork people, and don't ever, ever, ever let adversity convince you that you don't belong. This afternoon is about celebrating who you are right now, but really, more importantly, it's about recognizing who you can become. This award is not a finish line. It's basically just the foundation. It proves you have the potential, and we all agree. What happens next depends entirely on how you choose to do it. To the parents, families, and coaches here today, thank you. Behind every great player, as we all know, is someone who sacrificed, supported, encouraged, and believed long before the spotlight was in your home or the locker room. Your impact on these young men is absolutely immeasurable. And to the 22 recipients, enjoy this recognition. Be proud of it. Let it motivate you. But when tomorrow comes and you wake up Monday morning, remember that this honor is the beginning of your next challenge, not the end of your journey. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Don't stand so close. Okay, Aaron, thank you. That was great. Fab 22 football player, Division I football player, state champion wrestler, state champion in track, 100 and 200 meters. Who does that? Aaron Gatt. Scoop, you're a 100 and 200 meter, you're a 100 meter champ, you're a star football player. You think you could wrestle too? Nah. You'd be like in the 103 pound division or something, right? Just messing with you, Stu. Now we're going to bring up all the players one by one. Myself, Keith, and Matt are going to introduce you all one by one, and we ask you to come up. And like I said, if you want to say something, we would encourage you, but you don't have to. I know some of you do not probably like to speak in front, but I know some of you do like to speak. So first off, we're going to start off with this guy started as a freshman. And freshmen do start nowadays, but you don't see a lot of freshmen start on the interior lines as a freshman. And he made an impact right away. He blossomed into a dominant defensive lineman. This year, 103 tackles as a defensive tackle. That's a lot for an interior lineman. 15 tackles for loss, 5 sacks. His career, 103 tackles, 30 tackles for loss. He had more than 103. I think it's supposed to be 203. The Western Hills Conference in Class 3A is tremendous. Central Valley, Avonworth, a lot of people, a lot of really good teams. The best conference, without a doubt, in 3A. He was selected the most valuable defensive lineman in the Western Hills Conference. He's undecided on a college yet. Still has to pick. Still going to do that. Some MAC schools and others. From Central Valley High School, Brendan Alexander.
I just want to say thank you to Mike White, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, for voting me to the Fabulous 22. It's an honor. It's a blessing.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll continue with our selections. Next up, we have a player who rushed for over 2,000 yards this season. He's the second of his siblings to rush for 2,000 yards at Steel Valley High School. 32 touchdowns this year. Third brother, my mistake. Third sibling to rush for over 2,000 yards at Steel Valley. Also had 4 interceptions on defense this year. Averaged 175.8 yards per game this year. Over 3,300 in his career. And he's going to be staying here, going to Pitt for college. It is Deron Barksdale from Steel Valley.
I want to thank you guys for picking me to do this. This is, all my brothers made it. I think. And I'm going to save everything I got signing day on the 3rd, so I'm not going to say too much. I want to thank my Lord Jesus Christ. And Mom and Dad, I promise you everything's going to be worth it. Promise.
Hi, everyone. How you doing today? Okay, the person I'm going to talk about first, he's still playing, believe it or not, because Central Catholic happened to make it to the state final, and they're going to be playing Saturday night. It's going to be a great game and a rematch against LaSalle College High School. He used to play quarterback at one point in time, but then he decided, I think I'm going to chase him instead. And he's done a pretty good job so far. He had 13 and a half sacks this year during the regular season, and he's going to be heading to North Carolina and going to play for Bill Belichick. So we're going to see how good he really is. Ladies and gentlemen, we introduce to you Ashton Blatt.
Just want to say thank you for picking me. Thank you for my family for coming.
We had said these guys could speak for a minute. They're beating it by 50 seconds. Well, I was going to ask him before he sat down. I did a video with Ashton. We do these 100-yard videos preseason, and last thing I asked him walking the field with him is, people might be surprised to know that you what? And he said that I could do a flip backwards, standing. And he did it right there. It was crazy. Could you do it again now? You think Coach Lehmeyer would mind? No, okay. All right. Thought I'd ask. Next player, Peter Bonnet, Avonworth High School. Avonworth won won the WPIAL for a second year in a row, going to the state championship for the second year in a row. One of the reasons is a tremendous running game. Their leading rushers, get this average, 7.6, 10.5, and 12.3 yards per carry. One of the reasons for that, the strong running game, and this guy. He's one of the biggest antelopes in antelope country, 6'5", 285. You see him crushing someone on the offensive line, see him pushing a defender downfield. Big number 74. The Western Hills Conference most valuable defensive lineman was here. He's the Western Hills Conference most valuable offensive lineman. And I like to sometimes mention some things, and we try to do in the Fab 22, that are more than just football. This is a guy that plays the trumpet and the guitar, right, Peter? Okay. Better than a 4.0 grade point average, and he's looking to fly planes someday. He wants to be a fighter pilot because he's going to the Naval Academy where he wants to be a fighter pilot. But he just told me he may be too big. He may not fit the pilot because he's 6'5" to fit in there. So he's got to lose an inch somewhere maybe. So anyway, going to play at Navy from Avonworth High School, Peter Bonnet. And by the way, before I go up from Avonworth, and Luke and Neil, as I had to say, we had pretty good food today. Luca's father, I'm sorry, owns Doughboys Pizza down on McKees Rocks. I asked if you could bring it in, we could have that, but they didn't let me, so sorry for you and your Doughboys, Mr. Neil. Peter.
I'd just like to say thank you to Mike White, the rest of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. It's an honor to be here and to be recognized in this way.
I'd also like to thank Coach Joncourt and the rest of my coaching staff. I wouldn't be here without them, so thank you.
Well, I guess it's becoming my lot to introduce the North Carolina recruits, because we have another one coming up right now. This individual had a devastating injury a couple of years ago, missed almost his entire junior year, and still came back and became one of the best two-way players in the WPIL. Outstanding defensive back, multi-purpose athlete on offense, at Monty Christian's David Davis.
I want to say thank you to Mike White for selecting me to be here. It's a blessing. Appreciate y'all for coming out.
Okay, I need to clarify something. Everybody's saying thank you to me for selecting you to be here. This is not a one-man selection, okay? I'm not the only one. And to be honest with you, as these two guys know, we meet near the end of the year. We talk about things. There's always 10, 11 guys that are pretty much definite. From there, we talk to a lot of coaches. I talk to a lot of coaches. We meet again. We talk again. We talk to more coaches. We meet again, talk again, and we kind of just agree on it. So it's not a one-man team picking this. There's a lot of people involved. And I know there's a lot of people out there who always say, oh, you didn't pick this guy, you didn't pick that guy. But I always say, we do it for the guys that made it, not the guys that didn't make it. And there's always people that want to put people on. Well, who do you take off? It's not an easy thing. And do we always pick the right guys? No, be honest. But tough thing to do. We do what's best. But this isn't a one-man team, so I appreciate you guys thanking me. But it's not just me. These guys had a big input too, and so do a lot of coaches we talked to. I just need to clarify that so you don't hate me, the guys that don't make it. You can hate me, but it's just not all me. All right, next guy I'm bringing up. Oh, you're next. Go.
I'm next. See, he's always trying to take the spotlight. Don't even say it wasn't about him. All right. Our next player was an 8,000-yard passer in his career, won 2 WPIL titles as a sophomore and as a senior. He likes to bust my chops a lot on the field after games, especially when I didn't pick Peters Township to win a game this year. But he's allowed to do that, I guess. You know, he's heading to Villanova, and since his team beat my alma mater yesterday in the Division I AA playoffs, I guess he kind of went up me a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, Nolan DeLucia.
I'm blessed to be up here. I gotta give all my glory to God. Without Him, I would not be who I am today. I want to thank all of the staff and all the people who've helped here today for this amazing event. I'm truly blessed to be here. I want to thank all my coaches through youth and high school. Without them, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I want to thank my parents and my quarterback coach, Coach Losardo. Thank you so much for everything you do for me.
Another quarterback coming up here, the leading passer, WPIL this season, also the leading passer last year. He's the first quarterback since 1988-89 to lead the WPIL in regular season passing 2 years in a row. Over 3,300 yards this season, 46 touchdowns. That's a single season record. He has 6,370 yards and 69 touchdowns in just the last 2 seasons. Also set the WPIL record for passing in a single half with 433 yards in the first round of the playoffs. It is North Catholic's Joey Filitsky.
I'd like to thank Mike White and the rest of the Post-Gazette for selecting me, and I'd also like to thank my coach, Coach McMahon, and all the coaches at North Catholic. It is such an honor to be here. Thank you.
Colson Gatton came to Central Catholic playing a lot of tight end previously. Central put him at linebacker. 4 years later, one of the best linebackers in the state. Started some games at Central Catholic as a freshman, which is really unusual considering the talent that they have. Came into his own, and you guys, Nolan, Reston, and Lucas. What if he'd have stayed at Peters, right? Right? He went to Central. Man, what a linebacker crew you would have had, right? But Central's glad to have him. He has turned into one of the best linebackers in the state. I thought he really came into his own this year. Second on the team in tackles, close to 100, 4 sacks, and don't forget about him offensively. 21 catches on the year going into the last night, averaging 19 yards per catch, 4 touchdowns. Excellent student. Next year, he'll be going to play for the Duke Blue Devils, and he gets to play against his current teammate, Ashton Black, going to North Carolina. So that rivalry, it will become a rivalry now. So bring on from Central Catholic. Oh, by the way, he's going to Duke, Pitt, Penn State, and West Virginia, where his other top choices. That says enough about him. From Central Catholic, linebacker, tight end, Colson Gatton.
I just first off want to thank my family for everything you guys do for me. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to be here today. Coach Lehmeyer, can't thank you enough for everything. All the life lessons I've learned from you, everything possible. Wouldn't be the man I am without you here today. And Mike White, obviously, thank you for selecting me.
Next up, we're bringing up one of the top dual-threat quarterbacks across the WPIL this season. Threw for over 1,700 yards and 29 touchdowns. Rushed for over 1,400 yards and 15 more touchdowns. Second Amani Christian Fab 22 selection, and a major part of a defense that allowed just 9 points per game this year. It's one of the top-ranked junior recruits across the entire state. It's Gabe Jenkins from Amani Christian. Come on up.
All I gotta say is just thank you for selecting me. I want to thank my family. I want to thank God. Thank you.
You know, sometimes in over 40 years I've been doing this, sometimes because a player of the stature they are and their team goes far, you kind of deal with some players more than others. And I must tell you that this year dealing with these 3 guys from Peters Township was nothing but a treat, because not just football and playing favorites, but the conversations I had with some of them, and especially with this next one coming up, Reston Lehman, insightful conversations and unforgettable ones. I called him to do a story on him right before the season, true story. He told me, Mr. White, I'm on my way to my first date. He was on his way to his first date. I said, really, that's good. And I said, where are you going? He said, I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know where to take her. Do you have any ideas? I said, it's been a little bit of a long time since I dated Reston, but I said, listen, don't try any funny stuff on the first date. And he said, oh, no. That's like the 3rd or 4th date. So I called Nolan DeLucia another time recently after that, and I said, where are you? He said, I'm with Reston. I said, well, where are you? True story. He said, it's the last night before school ends, before school starts, And we're sitting up, I don't know, some hill or something, watching the sunset. But you two were together in the same car. But truth be told, Reston said there were like 20 other guys there. So it wasn't just those two watching the sunset together. Need to point that out. He's the one that told me. I asked him one of his most memorable things. He's the one that told me flying in a plane where the pilot was his teammate, James Spratt. And there's a licensed pilot. And the story of him going up in the plane with James Spratt, I couldn't stop laughing. He said, the turbulence was so bad going up, I thought this was it. I thought I was done. But it survived. I asked in the Fab 22, we asked all you guys, what do you want from Santa Claus? He told me a rice cooker for when he goes to pit. He did. He wants a rice cooker. His career, if he's not an athlete or a coach, he wants to rent fishing boats, fishing charters in Florida. And insightful too, and I got to bring this up. I did a big story on you guys, some of you guys, and a lot of NIL and money and revenue sharing money. And he texted me, and I talked to him twice. This is a type of thinking he has. I talked to him twice for it. He texted me and said, Mr. White, I'd like to have one more comment for that story, because I worked on the story for like 3 weeks. And he said, I think this is ruining college football. I said, let me call you right away. I called him. This isn't a joke. It's a very serious story. And he said, hey, I'm not going to sit here and tell you next year I'm not going to like getting some money. But I just see so many kids chasing the money. They transfer 3, 4 times. Their credits don't carry over. They finish playing without a degree. And they made some money, but in 2, 3 years, all their money's gone. And then what do they have? He said, I don't want that to happen to me. And that's really insightful for a high school age kid to say that. Reston, you've been, one last thing. I asked him where the name Reston came from. You don't hear Reston as a name very often. Well, his parents lived in Reston for a while. And he said that his mom wanted to name him Preston. But in his words, that's too girly of a name. So they called me Reston. I call him a stud because that's what he was on the field for Peters Township the last couple years. Defensive end, 5 forced fumbles, led the team in sacks, 2 interceptions, returned 1 for a TD, drops in pass coverage like TJ Watt or something. Offense, caught 21 passes. And next year, if you're a Pitt fan, you're lucky because of what he's going to be on the field, but also what he is off the field. From Peters Township, Mr. Reston Lehman.
I want to say Mr. White calls me at the craziest times. Like whenever something crazy is going on, that's when he calls me. But I just want to thank my family and my teammates. I wouldn't be the person I am here without them. And my coach, Coach Clay, I mean, he taught me so many life lessons, and every day of practice was awesome with him. I want to thank the Post-Gazette for picking me up here, and I want to thank God. Thank you, guys.
Hi again. I guess I get to introduce another player who's still going to be playing this week. That's going to be Luke O'Neill from Avonworth. It's pound for pound, he might be one of the toughest players you're ever going to see. He's not the biggest guy out on the field, not the fastest guy, but man, he makes an impact. He had over 1,300 yards during the regular season and helped Avonworth to the last 2 WPL titles, and they're going to make, hopefully for them, they can kind of have a little bit of a vengeance game from last year after they lost in overtime in the state championship game. Not a lot of guys are recruiting him. They're missing out on this kid. Trust me. Luke O'Neill from Avonworth.
I'd like to say thank you guys for setting this all up. It's an honor to be here and be a part of this. And then I'd like to say thank you to my parents and Coach Shankor as well. Thank you.
Next up, another Peters Township selection. Mike was just talking about their flying with James Spratt. This was someone who I was told was not allowed up in the plane, so he missed out on that. But he still had 6 sacks this year for the Whitfield 5A champions. At tight end, 23 catches for 441 yards. Recruited by Andrew Luck to go play at Stanford, where he'll be out next fall. It's Lucas Shanafelt from Peters Township.
I'd like to thank Post-Gazette, my parents, Coach Clay, all my coaches, and I'd like to thank God I'm blessed. Thank you.
Lucas told me he used to play basketball at Peters Township. He played for the 9th grade team, and I have been the 9th grade coach in North Hills for a number of years, and we played them, and just remember how bad we beat you when you were in 9th grade. Just remember that from this Fabulous 22 celebration. There are 2, I'm going to mention real fast, there are 2 players that aren't here today, and I need to mention them. One of them is TJ Sabatucci from Cannon McMillan. And real fast, you know, as I told you, I talk to coaches a lot, and one of them is even here. I'm like, well, over there, and about anybody stick out for you this year near the end of the year. Said number 87 for Cannon McMillan. His word, he's a beast. Another coach, he's got to be on a team. Another coach, best. TJ Sabatucci, Cannon McMillan. Another one not here. His family is on vacation. Lincoln Hope from North Allegheny, one of the better interior linemen in the WPIL, made the Fabulous 22 as a junior, made it again this year, one of the best interior offensive linemen. By the way, Sabatucci's going to the University of Buffalo, and Lincoln Hope is going to be a Pitt Panther along with Reston Lehman. Maybe we see you two playing alongside each other someday. And also they're on Barksdale. And who, wait, did I miss another one? Okay. All right. There's only 3 Pitt guys here, so, right? Right. All right. All right, next player I'm bringing up. You know, I went back and looked at an article I did on Matt Sig his freshman year, and it talked about when he was young and in junior high, people always use one word to describe him, and that was special. Now that his career's over, there's another word that describes him, unique. Goes down as one of the greatest players and most accomplished players in WPIL history. Ready? I'll start reading them off. WPIL record for offensive yards in a career, 12,592 yards. WPIL record for touchdowns scored in a career, 131. Throw in 59 touchdown passes in his career, and he was involved in 190 touchdowns. As a quarterback, he finished as the 2nd leading rusher in the history of the WPIL. Second, 7,958 yards rushing. First freshman ever to run and throw for 1,000 yards in the regular season. Now, Terrell Pryor, I'm sure a lot of you guys know him. He was the first player in Pennsylvania history to run and pass for 4,000 yards in his career. Matt Sig did that and a lot more. He's the first player in Pennsylvania history to run for 7,000 yards and pass for 4,000. It would have been more, but he played this season with a labrum injury, danged through the ball 3 times, I think, all year. Still rushed for 1,774 yards. Tremendous on defense, too. 14 career interceptions. The way he carried himself off the field, too, and what he did for that community in Fort Cherry. And I still remember his most memorable thing is coming down that hill every night at Jim Gary Stadium and playing with the guys that he played with since 1st grade. As I told you, it was college decision. He's going to go play basketball and run track at Duquesne. But no, he's going to decide on Tuesday or Wednesday and announce it on CBS Sports Live. And it is who? Pitt, Penn State, Virginia Tech, and who am I missing? Indiana. Pitt, Penn State, Virginia Tech, Indiana. He canceled that West Virginia visit, so they're out. All right, so from Fort Cherry High School, one of a kind, Mr. Matt Sig.
I just want to say thank you to the Post-Gazette, my family, God, my teammates, my coaches, everybody that's been along with me on this journey. And I want to say congrats to all the other players for being honored here today. It's a great honor, and thank you.
This next player, everyone always talks about his size. He's only 5'5". But my goodness, has there ever been a more gigantic playmaker in the history of the WPIL? And I mean that sincerely. He's one of the most exciting players I've ever seen play in the WPIL. And I truly call him the greatest big play artist in WPIL history. 5'5". Career, he had 62 touchdowns in his career. The average length of those touchdowns, 44.9 yards. That's crazy for a career. This year he had 23 touchdowns. The average length of those, 50.1 yards. In his career, he had 19 touchdowns of 60 yards or more, and he did them on receptions, kickoff returns, punt returns, and runs. Of those 19, 10 were 80 yards or more. 4 of them were 90 yards or more. He's also a 2-time WPIL 100-meter dash champion and does a lot of things for that community off the field. It should be mentioned. He just had a turkey giveaway where he gives turkeys to all kinds of needy people. Did it himself with the help of his mom. I know your mom here, so I would recognize her. Yes, because she's done a lot for you also, so she needs recognized. He was all section in basketball last year, averaged 18 points a game. No lie. He's Muggsy Bogues on the basketball court. Fastest basketball player I think I've ever seen. Now, he's playing for Woodland Hills again, and I help out with the North Hills basketball team, and we're in the same section as Woodland Hills. Now, he's playing basketball, but he's going to Miami of Ohio. He's thinking about going to leave early for spring semester. Scoop, I'm telling you, there's nothing left for you for basketball. Just go. I mean, just go. There's nothing left for you here. Just go. Just go. It's North Hills. We got to play twice in section. If you're not there, it's not a big deal. Okay? And I'm bringing him up now. He is going to Miami of Ohio, and really an unforgettable player, Mr. Scoop Smith.
I got a whole speech. It's like, no, I'm lying. I thank y'all for this honor. It's an honor to be here. God bless.
Hi. Well, there is one other player that is not here tonight, or today, and he's our Mr. Irrelevant. And the reason why he's Mr. Irrelevant is because he was the last person who did a Q&A with us for the Fab 22, and I had to go chase him down the day before we went to print, and if I hadn't talked to him, we'd have a big gap where his name was. And fortunately, he's not here, but he's definitely not Mr. Irrelevant when it comes to being on a football field, and that is Keemon Spell of McKeesport. Because I think we all know who he is, so he could not be here today, but yeah, Mr. Irrelevant is Keemon Spell. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next person we're going to talk about. This young man led his team to 3 consecutive WPL football championships as a quarterback. There are not many people who can actually say they've been to 3 straight WPL finals as a quarterback. He won one last year, didn't get to win one this year, unfortunately, as he looks at me and goes, oh man, he's going to bring that up. But anyway, he has 4,029 career passing yards, 1,267 yards rushing, threw for 2,211 yards this year and 32 touchdowns. One of the best dual threats in the WPIL. He had a couple of pretty good receivers to throw to, too, if I'm not mistaken. I think Jay Timmons and Khalil Taylor are pretty good guys to throw to all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Strader. Ubi Strader.
I don't really got much to say, but thank you to my family, my coaches, my teammates, and my O-line. Thank y'all.
Well, Keith just mentioned him, and he is one of Ubi's teammates. Next up, he's one of the best all-around athletes in the WPIL. College offers from Georgia, Ohio State, Virginia Tech, Oregon, among others. This season, you want to talk about big plays: 2 pick sixes, 3 punt return touchdowns, 3 kickoff return touchdowns for the WPIL 5A runners-up, in addition to 571 receiving yards and 25 total touchdowns. It is Khalil Taylor from Pine Richland.
I just want to say thanks to the Post-Gazette for noticing my talents and bringing me here. It's a blessing, and thank you. And shout out to my parents, my coaches, Coach LaDon, and shout out to my quarterback, Ubi, and my teammates. Appreciate y'all.
All right, this guy, I'm not sure if I actually want to bring him up here because I don't know if he can make it because he kind of twisted his ankle last night. As he kind of pops his head up and goes, hey, they're talking about me. Roman Thompson's one of the best junior linebackers in the WPIL, and he's getting a lot of looks, let's put it that way. Also he had a touchdown last night too, so he got up to 30 now or 31? 29, just want to make sure. He does just a great player on both sides of the ball, done a great job. It was a shame they put that tent where they did last night when you went flying into it, but you know, it made for good video at least. Roman Thompson from Central Catholic.
I just want to give thanks to God, my parents, the sacrifices they make, the teammates for being with me, and a special shout out to Coach Lehmeyer for pushing me every day to be the best man I could be. Thank y'all.
Among the people in the Fabulous 22, Keith mentioned, he's not here, but Keemon Spell's the #1 junior rated, the #1 junior running back in the country. We also have, depending on the scouting service, a player who's ranked the #1 cornerback in the country in the senior class, right here in Western Pennsylvania. Teams kept away from this year throwing the ball. Didn't have many interceptions. 35 tackles despite missing a few games. Really a top-notch defensive back, but also a really good receiver. 33 passes for 585 yards this year. Got 54 passes as a junior. And everybody knows he had that little indecision on colleges. And he's flipping here and flipping there and flipping there. So he's going to Ohio State. He's flipped more than a gymnast, I think. But he's going to Ohio State to be a Buckeye, the #1 team in the country. And I think he'll fit in real well right there. And everybody always says about him all the time, he's a son of a former Steeler, and he is Lawrence Timmons. But I know I've talked to him, and a big person in his life, and I'd like to give her a shout as your mother. Is she here today? And he will mention her. So she deserves a big shout out. From Pine Richland High School, Jay Timmons. Before I forget, players, at the end of this, stick around because we want to get a picture of all the guys that are here, up here. So please don't leave. We're going to do it up here somewhere, okay? All right.
I just want to say thank you to my mom, you feel what I'm saying? Everybody that helped me get to where I'm at right now. It's a blessing, you know what I'm saying? And go Buckeyes, so, yeah.
Okay, when you mention Trinity High School, a lot of people think it's a Catholic school, but it's really not. It's public. And one of the people who helped put Trinity on the map this year as far as football is our next honoree. He's a 4-year starter, one of only 2 quarterbacks in WPL history to throw for more than 5,000 and rush for more than 3,000 yards. And the other one's also in this room, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. No? No, 5,000, 3,000? Who's that? Who's the other one? I didn't think. Okay. I made a mistake. It happens. He had 8,362 total yards, 5,080 passing, and 3,200 rushing, 94 touchdowns in his career, and threw for 1,494 yards and ran for 1,000 this year. A total 32 touchdowns. He's heading to my alma mater, Harvard, Jonah Williamson.
I just want to thank my parents for everything that they've done for me. Coach Canales has always believed in me, and starting me as a freshman was a little bit rough at times, but it was definitely for the better. And my uncle for helping me break down film and always helping that football part of me, and Post-Gazette for putting up a great event. Thank you.
And I recognize coaches, and I missed him. Coach Canales from Cannon McMillan. Raise your hand. Where's he at? There he is. Okay, great job this year with the program out there. Not Cannon McMillan, Trinity. Why did I say Cannon McMillan? But anyway, hey, that is our ceremony for today. Thank you all for coming. This is the first time we've ever done this. We didn't know how it would go. We had, I think, 90 people here, so we're pretty happy with that, and I hope you all enjoyed it, and the amount of talent in one room really is something. Thank you, guys. Teams in the state championships this weekend, bring them home. 3 of them, Clairton, Avonworth, Central Catholic. Aaron Gatton, thank you, all the coaches, and most importantly, your parents, guardians, owe a lot to you, and I know having 3 boys that grown up and played, you deserve thank you. So thank you also to you guys. And everybody, thanks for coming. Enjoy it, and go Fabulous 22.
Gentlemen, bring your plaques up with you, too.